So, over the weekend, the Squad UE5 playtest was open to the public, and usually I try to avoid the playtest so I can enjoy it when it's finished, but this time I thought I would sink some gameplay hours in to see roughly how it runs in this early state compared to UE4. I recently upgraded to a 9800X3D as, at lowest settings 1080p, my bottleneck in most games has actually been my 9900K, despite only having an RTX 2070 with it. In UE4 Squad, the 9800X3D took me from 60 to 80 FPS in a full server, all the way to 140 FPS plus, with still more power to spare. I've even noticed that if I lower my resolution or scaling, I can get 180 to 220 FPS with it, so I was now starting to think about upgrading my graphics card too to take full advantage of the processor. Well, with the UE5 upgrade, I have noticed that I would definitely have to do that. As I'm sure other people who have tried UE5 games will know, it seems to love a good graphics card. For example, in another game that's in UE5, Grey Zone Warfare, the maximum FPS I can get even with the 9800X3D is around 80 FPS with DLSS on performance. But in benchmarks for that game, I've noticed the 9800X3D is capable of providing a lot more FPS, you just need to pair it with a good graphics card to do it. So it seems that the UE4 to UE5 transition means instead of just needing a good CPU, you now need a good graphics card as well. But just to double check this was the case in UE5 Squad, I turned upscaling off and lowered my resolution scale all the way down to 33, and then lowered my resolution too, making the game look completely awful, but taking all the load off my GPU, and guess what? I was getting almost 200 FPS in UE5 Squad too.
You got shot at from castle, I was worried about people being in that bridge as well.
Graphics-wise, the UE5 upgrade has definitely made the game look prettier. The low shadows now seem to be equivalent to the old high setting in UE4, where you can see your own character's shadow, which I had always wished the low setting in UE4 had done, because as much as I loved the look of that, the high shadow setting lowered my performance way too much. The other big thing I noticed was the lighting in general. It has become a lot harder to see in buildings, and even sometimes out of buildings when you're inside them. A good trick in games like this has always been to stay back from windows when you're shooting from the inside of a building, but now the way the lighting works, it seems if you don't have a scope, you may actually have to go up to the window to see out of it. Other than that though, graphically the game doesn't seem too different, which I guess isn't a bad thing as I've never really had a problem with Squad's graphics. Funnily enough, I even preferred the graphics of the game a long time ago, when the game was fine without anti-aliasing. But somewhere along the way, the game's foliage started to look very harsh and pixelated without some form of anti-aliasing on. So obviously that carries on with UE5, and luckily they still give you the option to turn off AA or upscaling, which on urban maps actually looks nice. I genuinely prefer it. But as soon as you go to a map with heavy foliage, or you look at any foliage in general, the game just looks awful. So for someone like me who doesn't enjoy AA, I would have to suck it up and get used to it, or switch it on and off for certain maps, which I can't see myself doing, to be honest. Personally, if I could choose, I would want the game to first look good with no anti-aliasing, then we can turn it on or off as preference. I think there would be less complaints then too. Alright, sound. So some of the gun sounds have changed for what seems like the 15th time. I don't know if the sound guy is just justifying his paycheck, but to be completely honest, the gun sounds in Squad have always been some of the best gun sounds since even when the game launched in early access. They've never really got worse or better. It's almost as if the quality is always there, but the person or people who make them have just been changing the genre, like jazz to blues to rock or something. Actually though, I did have a very jarring feeling hearing the new AK-74 sound. I wasn't sure about that one. But can you criticise it if it's in a playtest? I don't know. Sometimes I heard footsteps in front or behind, but obviously just bugs. And people in game kept complaining about the distance of vehicle sounds, but I didn't really notice it.
There's a fucking machine gun here.
Yeah, they're everywhere. It's an arma.
Now, Gunplay. A few things I noticed were some scopes were ADSing faster, but the iron sights seemed the same as they used to be. Although the Canadian iron sight did the low aiming thing, which I feel like doesn't happen as much in UE4 nowadays. Then they also added an eye zoom like armor, but you can only use it when standing still. Theoretically, this is very handy for playing at 1080p compared to 1440p users, but with it only being able to be used when still, it seems only good when you're playing slowly. Also, there were a few moments I noticed where people took a split second to go down due to lag or tick rate. whereas in UE4 they would have dropped right as the bullet hits them. But it's obviously a playtest, so not a big issue. Maps-wise, I'd say Al Basra looked great. Performance was good for how good it looked. UE5 looked very unfinished. The foliage reminded me of Scum, looking very cheap and early access. Scorpo looked stunning, but didn't run very well in comparison to other maps, same as UE4. And Montage looked exactly the same as UE4 to me. Bugs were the usual. Nothing crazy, there was a few crashes here and there. There was a very funny running legs bug that gave me a good laugh. And DLSS still does the shimmering thing on trees like in UE4. But overall I've had fun. Things definitely felt stagnant on the old engine, like they didn't really have much they could improve. But yeah, it's all good I think. Should be much better. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you like the video, give it a like, and I'm going to try and release some more videos like my previous ones more often.
Oh my god, there's what? Careful, north. Go on. Oh my god, you're so lucky. Got two.
On my body, outside.
Okay. Go on.
So they can help build it, but it's taking forever.
Tästä on radio no.
Oh, coming in. Got him. Oh, I traded. He's got a fucking sniper?
Yeah, it's fucked over somehow.
He's bandaging. Got him. Did he fucking no-scope you or something?
Yeah, he did.